All right, back at it. Another trip, taking the back roads on FSD 12.6.4. Checking this out. This is our first time taking the back roads, so I want to see if anything's have changed in the way of staying within the lanes, respecting the lanes. Had some issues on 12.6.3 on that. And then there's a heavy construction zone as well, so I want to kind of gauge that and see where that's at in this latest release, see if anything's changed or improved. So we will see what happens, right? Backroads not typically a way that I take. This way is for testing purposes, but not a typical route. So I have read some comments and things from folks that only have back roads, and it's a 50-50. So we'll see what we have here. Starting off, not good. Need to disengage there. Okay, so was attempting to make a left turn instead of going straight. So I'll report that. And once again, same issue. So back to back. Again, attempting to make a left turn when they should have gone straight. So that is consistent with 12.6.1. It just, for whatever reason, wasn't respecting or hasn't been respecting the two lanes. And that wasn't an issue on 12.5.4.2. So I'm not sure what changed for that particular area. So something to note. Definitely two critical disengagements right off the bat. I think it's fortunate that while traffic is picking up, it wasn't a super big deal, but nevertheless, that's why you always stay vigilant and be prepared to take over, because you never know. Again, I mentioned 12.5.4.2 and earlier builds. That was not an issue at all. It recognized the left turn lane versus going straight and took the straight approach, and we never had issues. So hopefully that happening back to back, Tesla AI can get some eyes on it and see what they can do. Nevertheless, coming up to our four-way intersection here. So see how we handle this. We've never had issues with this four-way. It's been pretty straightforward. So all good there. And making this turn, as you can see on the opposite side here, traffic is starting to pick up. We're still good. This is a far cry from my previous video where it was just traffic all over the place. I had to stop filming altogether at one point. Typically, I'll fast forward through some red lights, stuff like that, but it was just too great. So this is much better. And now we're coming upon the construction zone. So we're going to see how things are being handled on this way. Really not too many issues going this way besides respecting the reflectors on the ground, which again, we'll be prepared to take over if we need to with that. It's really coming the opposite way. So right now the speed is, there's a 40 and a 45 sign. So we want to respect that. Have this 18-wheeler here. Uneven road. Okay, so far so good. Some of the saving grace here versus previous videos, we have some traffic built up, so it's kind of going with the flow. So it'll be interesting to see, which I'll need to test, how how things are handled early morning when there's no traffic. Okay, so I will definitely make note of that. But overall, that was good. There was some a little bit of running through that reflector, which that 18-wheeler that was on the opposite side, I'm assuming saw and kind of slowed down a bit. So again, you know, the reflectors on the ground and not respecting those, that's, I'm hoping that is resolved here soon, at least for my hardware 3 vehicle. Maybe for hardware 4 vehicles, it's something different. Definitely like to know. Let me know in the comments if reflectors on the ground are still an issue. A little bit of a jam there, so we hit the brakes a bit. Nothing too crazy though, so that looks good. Now coming up toward the straightaway, and then we'll be making a right-hand turn. So outside of that, not too bad. We have, once we make this right turn, there's some uneven road, and it's always an area where it's, again, ready to take over. A little bit more abrupt. Stop here. Some potential traffic there. It's always interesting to see how uneven roads are handled, and I always err on the side of caution. I try and let FSD do its thing up to a certain degree, but ultimately I'm responsible for it if something goes not as planned. So just keeping that in mind as well. For me, ideally, FSD is used in scenarios like this where you can, you know, kind of just have hands off, especially in traffic time where, you know, you're just sitting anyway. You can let FSD drive you, obviously supervise, but you can listen to music, take a phone call, podcast, whatever your thing is, or just sit in silence. So I think that's one of the large benefits there. Of course, there's still things to work on. Obviously, this trip showed us right from the get-go, there's things that can be improved. So again, it's really just staying vigilant and continuing to run tests and trips in your area, reporting things that are off, and continue leaving feedback, you know. Okay, so doing pretty good here. It seems like we have somebody that's trying to make a left, potentially, or they're just scared on one of the two. So let's see. Yeah, it's got to be a definite left. And for the folks that are in the area, it's, you know, they're going to start building more out here. There's already some neighborhoods that they're establishing, but the 2-lane highways and roads, they're just, it's not a thing anymore. So that's what kind of makes traffic time, at least out here, difficult. And Oh, and they had a trailer on top of it, so yeah. This part of North Texas is trying to keep up with the volume of folks moving here, and some growing pains. But nevertheless, we're going to come to a complete stop and then make our right. We're clear. So good, strong turn. No issues. Again, a far cry from previous builds for hardware 3 at least. It was real jerky at times. And now it's just super smooth. So it's always enjoyable to, one, just track the progress of FSD, but then to be able to really see change in action. So definitely like that. Coming to this uneven road piece, handled that. I mean, not too bad. I didn't feel like I needed to take over. We have a little piece here coming up. The bridge coming up. Okay. That's okay there too. Okay. So that's good there. Okay, so we'll go, and we have this flashing yellow here, which indicates that there's a fire station there upcoming. But all in all, not the best trip. We had those 2 disengagements, which in my mind are critical just based on the highway being 2 lanes. Maybe if there was 4 lanes and it ended up doing that, I wouldn't look at it as harsh, but you just can't have that happen. You need to, be able to differentiate the turning lane from straight lane here, just like we did just now. So definitely keeping an eye on that in future here lane closing. That's not good either. So but yeah, let me know if you have any questions, if you have any areas you'd like me to visit out here. Definitely like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts. Until then, have a good one.